So in my personal opinion, I believe the IRGC Quds Force to be a terrorist organization, and I do not support them being delisted from the foreign terrorist organization.
Thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
Would you take the Iran's Revolutionary Guard off the terror list in order to get a deal?
Yes. And it may seem impossible. People tell me that it's impossible to change the direction of our country, that it's impossible to root out the corruption in our government. But my friends, God spared my life. He has given me the strength to stand before you today. So do not lecture me on what is impossible. My fellow patriots, Americans are in the business of doing the impossible. Because with God, all things are possible.
How can you guys say that President Biden was not a close contact with Speaker Pelosi when there is video of the speaker kissing him?
Well, Peter, the way that it is defined is by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, and their definition of it is 15 minutes of contact within a set period of time and within 6 feet. It did not meet that bar.
Last one on this. Now that the Texas governor is saying that he's going to start busing border crossers to Washington, D.C., when they get here, are you guys going to help them find a place to stay and something for them to do?
Well, I'm not aware of what authority the governor would be doing that under. I think it's pretty clear this is a publicity stunt. His own office admits that a migrant would need to voluntarily be transported, and then he can't compel them to because, again, enforcement of our country's immigration laws lies with the federal government, not a state.
Washington, D.C.?
Well, listen, I don't know, but I know that the governor of Texas or any state does not have the legal authority to compel anyone to get on a bus.
Following up on the smartphones that are being given to border crossers with technology so they can be tracked or so they can check in, is there any plan to give free smartphones to U.S. citizens that want them?
Should we not be tracking migrants who irregularly cross the border?
I'm asking if...
Or do you have an alternative suggestion for how they should be tracked?
I, unfortunately, have not been asked to make U.S. immigration policy. That's not
Today's your moment.
Well, it'd be great if anybody that wanted a free phone and a free monthly plan could get one. So is that going to be an offer for everybody or just people that walk into the country illegally?
Well, Peter, as when we talked about this the other day, what I noted to you is that we have a range of means of tracking individuals who irregularly migrate to the country.
And it appears that U.S. officials knew Beijing gave the intel to Moscow. So I would imagine you do not support giving Russia our intelligence.
I am unfamiliar with the issue that you raised, but you are right. I do not support giving our adversaries.
All right, General Milley, under what circumstances, if any, have you advised intelligence sharing with Beijing?
Zero. Never.
Thank you. What would you advise for similar scenarios going forward?
I don't think you should give intelligence to your adversary, period.
Thank you. What senior leader is ultimately responsible for this decision of intel sharing? Is it you? Is it Secretary Austin? Is it Jake Sullivan? Is it the president? Who is it?
I'll let my opinion is, I'll give you a couple answers to that. One is the Director of National Intelligence is responsible for all the intelligence agencies and the
National Intelligence.
DNI, Avril Haines. So that's the person who's technically responsible, but obviously the president is responsible for everything that the government does, the executive branch does. And then each of us are responsible within our areas of responsibility.
Okay. You know, there's so much about what's happening in the world now that is presenting some of the worst of this moment and human behaviors. And then we have a moment like this that I think reminds us that there is still so much yet to accomplish and that we can accomplish.
Do you concede that Democrats have some responsibility for putting us more dependent on foreign countries? I talked about it yesterday with another one of your colleagues, and I mentioned some of the comments from your colleagues. It says, will you commit to matching your European counterparts in reducing the production of oil? Are you committed to lowering the production of oil in the United States to where the Paris Accords say so? Is it a yes or no? We point out that 26 Democrats signed on to a bill or co-author?
I just coincidentally got the chance to walk out of the chamber after the vote with Senator Warnock, the first African-American senator from the Deep South since Reconstruction. And
concerned by folks around here that these migrants will take the phones and just toss them? And then,
Do you have a record of people throwing phones away?
I'm just asking if that's a concern.
Our concern is ensuring that individuals who irregularly migrate to the United States proceed through our process of, of course, being monitored, but also participating in hearings to determine whether or not they will be able to stay. I would note that
there's evidence that the president at one point was office mates with Hunter and his brother Jim here in D.C.
it's not accurate.
That is not accurate. So when Hunter Biden is emailing a landlord, please have keys made available for new office mates, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Jim Biden, that you're disputing.
They were not office mates, no.
They were not office mates, okay.
Great.